Would like to certify, Madam Secretary,
Telephone
certify
and
a
video conferencing.
quorum for this meeting.
Calling
The Planning Commission, could you certify a
roll
quorum
call
for
of
this
the
meeting as
City
well?
Council, City of Pearland.
Mayor,
We have just completed
Planning and Zoning Commission does have a quorum.
series of
Okay.
discussions on the previous.
Okay,
issues.
and moving to item number 4,
And, I
introduction
would like
of
to
agenda
certify,
and
Madam
format of
Secretary,
hearing.
certify
Staff
and video
report,
conferencing.
quorum for this meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. For the 2 items on tonight's agenda, we'll have a call to order followed by a staff report, and the applicant has an opportunity to present. Then there will be public comments and either support or opposition to, followed by council, commission, and staff discussion. After all of that is wrapped up, the City Council will have their new business item, where they will have the opportunity to either approve as requested, approve with conditions, deny the request, or table the item to a future agenda. As mentioned, there are 2 conditional use permits on the agenda tonight, both of which are for new single-family detached dwellings within the Old Town Mixed-Use District. One is at 2547 South Austin Avenue, and the second is at 2547 South Austin Avenue, and then the other is at 2540 South Texas Avenue. And that completes our staff introduction.
Okay. Moving to joint public hearing number 1, Chairman of the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a request by Jose Maldonado, applicant, on behalf of Andrew Maldonado, owner, for approval of a conditional use permit to allow a single-family detached dwelling in the Old Townsite Mixed-Use District, OTMU, on approximately 0.14 acres of land. The general location is 2540 South Texas Avenue in Pearland.
That information in the record. Any further comments on that, Mr. Chairman? Moving to item number 2, applicant presentation. Councilmember Little, would you present this item, applicant, to our microphone?
Thank you, Mayor. I believe we have 2 people that want to speak on this. The applicant, Mr. Andrew Maldonado and Jose Maldonado. Are they online?
Yes. Hi, Andrew Maldonado here, owner of 2540 South Texas Avenue, Pearland, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, Mayor, they're here to answer questions. I guess we can proceed.
Okay. Moving to item number 3, persons wishing to speak for or against this proposed request. Councilmember Little.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there anyone that wishes to speak for or against this request? Second time, anyone wishing to speak for or against this request? Third and final time.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Hello.
Hello.
So we haven't, this is Florence Buaku with the Planning Division. We haven't presented staff report yet on this case. And so we'll have to start with staff report before we go into public comment. Thank you.
Florence, take it away.
Okay.
Okay. So good.
I took care of that. And you took care of the person wishing to speak for or against. Councilmember Little, up to you.
Okay.
And I think.
Can I move forward with?
Okay.
Mayor Reed, this
Yes.
is Darren. I'm sorry. Mayor Reed, this is Darren. And so we're at a point now where both the applicants are available to answer questions. And I believe Florence is going to go ahead and do the staff presentation at this time.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Florence Buaku, and I'm with the Planning Division. This request is for a conditional use permit for a single-family detached residential home in the Old Town Mixed-Use District. And the location is 2540 South Texas Avenue. Staff sent out notices to residents within 200 feet of the subject property, and we did not receive any comments either in favor or against this request. So the subject property is located in the village district. It has an underlying land use of village district, which allows residential, office, and retail uses. It has a zoning of both Old Town Mixed Use and Old Town Residential. So the site is split into two. The northern portion of the site is zoned Old Town Residential, which allows single-family detached residential by right. But the southern portion of the site is zoned Old Town Mixed Use. And so this request is specifically for the southern portion of the site. And so here is a site plan showing the location of the proposed building. It has a square footage of 2,031, and it has an attached carport. Staff has reviewed the request, looking at the criteria outlined in the UDC. First of all, it meets the vision of the comprehensive plan for the village district, and then the subject property is already platted and has utilities available. It's also consistent with the purpose and intent of the Old Town Mixed Use District. It does preserve the character of adjacent development. It's actually surrounded by other residential buildings. To the north is a single-family residential home, and to the south of this property is an apartment complex. It's a small apartment complex. So this proposed development is not going to negatively impact any use within that neighborhood. And apart from that, it meets all the other requirements outlined in the UDC. And so based on that, staff recommends approval of the requested conditional use permit. And that ends staff report. Thank you very much.
Moving in our agenda to City Council, then this is the Planning and Zoning Commission, and this happens to be joint public hearing number 1. So, Councilmember Alonso, do you have a quick comment? Moving in our agenda to City Council, then this is the Planning and Zoning Commission, and this happens to be joint public hearing number 1.
There, do you wish to make a presentation, Mr. Maldonado?
Councilmember Alonso, do you have a quick comment?
Just answer any questions.
Okay, now, Mayor, I'll see if there's anyone willing to, or.
Moving in our agenda to City Council, then this is the Planning and Zoning Commission, and this happens to be joint public hearing number 1.
There, do you wish to make a presentation, Mr. Maldonado?
Councilmember Alonso, do you have a quick comment?
Just answer any questions.
Okay, now, Mayor, I'll see if there's anyone willing to, or.
Moving in our agenda to City Council, and this is the Planning and Zoning Commission, and this happens to be joint public hearing number 1.
There, do you wish to make a presentation, Mr. Maldonado?
Councilmember Alonso,
No comments, thank you.
Commissioner Dansby.
No comments, thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Forsyth.
Do you wish to make a presentation?
Ditto, no comments.
And Commissioner Wicker. I don't hear anything from Commissioner Wicker, and I don't have any questions or comments.
No comments.
Thank you, Mayor. And Commissioner Wicker?
Move to item number 2 would be the city council. And starting with council member Owens, did you have any comment on this item?
No comment, Mayor.
Good. Councilmember Perez.
I don't hear anything from Commissioner
Only
Wicker, and I don't
comment
have any
there is
questions or
that,
comments.
we ensure that the site plan is not a part of the conditional use permit, and that they can modify their site plan as needed in order to get a house that they want without having to revise the CUP. Other than that, I'm supportive.
Good. Councilmember Moore.
Comments supportive of it, Mayor.
Good. Councilmember Hernandez.
I have nothing to add, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Little.
I have no problem with this project, Mayor.
Good. Councilmember Carbone.
No comments, Mayor.
And Councilmember Alondo.
Nothing from me, Mayor.
Good. Moving to item number 3, which is staff wrap up for comments.
Just to address the member Perez's question, the resolution that was posted did not have any specifications for the site plan. So if they need to make modifications to the site plan in between City Council's approval and the creation of the permit, they would be able to do so.
Maybe just to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, that'll be the same case for the second application, correct?
When we get to the second application, there are conditions with that one that we will discuss at that time.
But the site plan will be detached. The conditions are not necessarily site plan, correct?
To the best of my knowledge, the site plan is not in the second one.
I think that completes that portion of our agenda. Item number C is this particular discussion has morphed into a city council action for new business. And I would like to ask Councilmember Carbone if he would please read this item, present this item for our discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. Consideration. Thank you, Mayor. Consideration and possible action resolution R 2020 CUP 20-00007. So moved.
Second, Hernandez.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, I believe we have a motion second on the floor.
Councilmember Carbone?
Aye.
Councilmember Little?
Aye.
Member Hernandez?
Aye.
Member Moore?
Aye.
Member Perez?
Aye.
Member Owens?
Aye.
Member Orlando?
Aye.
The motion passes 7-0 to approve resolution number R 2020-CUP 20-00007.
Okay. That information in the record, let me adjourn that portion of our agenda at 7:30. Moving in our agenda to joint special hearing number 2. Special meeting, State Council, City of Pearland for Planning and Zoning Commission, via telephone and video conferencing. And this will be conducted in the City Hall of City of Pearland for Monday. Yes, sir.
Mary, this is Darren. You don't have to read all that. We're going to go straight into joint special meeting number 2.
Okay.
Part of the same meeting, so you won't have to go through that process.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That information in the record. We need a roll call for the City Council. And we are based on the immediate predecessor, we had a quorum and have been no time frame elapsed since then of any measure. I certify, Madam Secretary, that we do have a quorum for this meeting tonight.
Mayor, this is Commissioner Cade. Mr. Wicker seems to have dropped out of the meeting unless y'all see him somewhere. I don't. So there are 4 out of 6 of the commissioners. It's still a quorum, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, this is Lawrence. Yes.
Lawrence.
I don't see Mr. Wicker in the meeting any longer, but the P&Z still has a quorum with 4 members.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention that just to be sure. Thank you. We still have a quorum, Mayor.
Okay. Moving then to joint special meeting number 2, which we have certified the quorum for. I ask the Planning Commission Chair to read that into the record for the purpose of the public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a request by Anya Moore, Anya's permit assistance applicant, on Juan and Delilah Gonzalez owner for approval of a conditional use permit to allow a detached single-family dwelling unit within the Old Townsite Mixed-Use District, OTMU, on approximately 0.36 acres of land. The general location is 2547 South Austin Avenue in Pearland. Thank you, Mayor.
Good. Okay, with that information in the record, let's move to item A, application information case summary, staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, and Planning and Zoning Commission member. So the next case is a request for conditional use permit to allow a detached single-family unit within Old Town Mixed-Use District on approximately 0.36 acres of land. The property is located at 2547 South Austin Avenue, and the future land use is Village District. The proposed use is detached single-family unit. So far, staff has not received any comments in favor or against the proposed deal. This is an aerial map showing the property located within Old Town Mixed Use at the corner of Austin Avenue and West Walnut Street. This is the future land use map showing the properties in Village District for future land use map. Village District is designed for a mix of residential, office, and also retail. This is the proposed site plan. It's not a final approved site plan though. There's 2 accessory structures on the site plan, and then also the driveway access to West Walnut will be removed. So the proposed detached single-family home is consistent with the comprehensive plan, shared land use plan, and also with UDC. The property is located at the corner of Austin Avenue and West Walnut Street. It meets the right-of-way requirement, so it will not have any negative impact on the thoroughfare plan. The property has been recently platted and has access to water and sewer systems.
Is it any better?
So according to the following criteria, including the comprehensive plan consistent with the future land use map,
Jose,
UDC, and traffic, the proposed CUP criteria for approval. So therefore, staff recommends approval of the requested CUP with the following condition, as I mentioned, the non-conforming accessory structures and the property will be removed, as well as the existing driveway access to Walnut, West Walnut will be removed. And that completes the. Thank you.
That completes your report.
Yes.
Moving to item number 2, applicant presentation. Councilmember Little, would you present this gentleman to the individual?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Speak.
Is the applicant present?
Thank you.
That completes your report.
Mr. Chuck Riley was signed in to speak for this item.
Mr. Riley is calling user number 3, communications.
Yes,
He's been unmuted.
I'm sorry, I'm a builder. I'm here more to answer questions than to speak on it, but it is a existing residential structure that we're replacing with another
user number 3, communications.
Okay, Mr. Riley, if we have
He's been unmuted.
during council discussion, you'll be available in text those, is that correct?
I'm sorry, I'm a builder. I'm here more to answer questions than to speak on it, but it
All right,
is
Mayor, we're ready to proceed.
Item number 3 is persons wishing to speak for or against this proposed request. Little.
Is there anyone wishing to speak for or against this request? Second time, anyone wishing to speak for or against this request? Third and final time, anyone wishing to speak for or against this request? Nothing, Mayor.
Okay, moving to item B on our agenda, which provides an opportunity to the Planning Commission, the Council, and staff to finalize and summarize their comments during this particular public hearing. Moving to item number 1 is the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Fuertes, do you have any comments or questions?
None, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dansby?
No, ma'am, not at this time. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Earls?
Nothing. Thank you.
I don't either. Thank you. I kind of do, but I don't. Thank you.
Okay, that finishes you? Yeah. We're moving to item number 2, which is City Council. And I'd have to start with Alondo. You have any comments?
I don't have any comments as of right now, Mayor. Thank you.
Good. Councilmember Carbone.
No comments, Mayor.
Good. Councilmember Little.
I see no reason not to support this, Mayor. That's all.
Okay. Councilmember Hernandez.
No, sir, Mayor. I have no comments on this item either. Thank you.
Councilmember Moore.
No comments, Mayor. I'm supportive of it.
And Councilmember Perez.
Thank you, Mayor. Want to go over the exclusions that we're requesting of the applicant. The staff, can you kind of walk me through what we're trying to do by demolishing or requiring them to demolish the accessory structure and the driveway onto Walnut?
So the existing accessory structures will be not consistent with the setback requirements. So therefore, they have to be removed. The structures have been damaged because of the Harvey, and the whole purpose is to build a whole new structure which will meet the requirement as far as the setback and all the UDC requirements. And the access to Walnut Driveway is a requirement from engineering. There's an existing access to South Austin Avenue, and the second driveway won't be allowed.
I have no problem with the accessory structure since it does meet the building setbacks. I've never been a fan of not allowing for a secondary driveway on a dual frontage a dual frontage lot. Because that may be the only way to be accessory structure. But I would propose when we go into special meeting that we eliminate the site plan as a condition. We allow for the accessory structure to be the removal of the accessory structure to be a condition, but not the driveway. That should be, if that's going to be enforced, if it's an engineering requirement, it should be forced through engineering, not through not through planning.
Remove that condition from the resolution.
Yeah, I'll just need to propose that. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Moving to the next item, which is Councilmember Owens. Any comments on this item?
Mayor, the only comment that I have, and it's not really a thing against this. Previously, we used to have, when these items would come up, they would go out and take pictures of north, south, east, and west of the land area out there, and also the sign that's up there. It sure made a lot of difference when we were sitting here looking at this and what the proposed change would be, and we could see what was surrounding that area there other than a GPS deal. So I don't know why that was ever stopped, but I think it'd be a lot better to be able for everybody to be able to see what's in that location out there on these changes. But as far as anything on this, and I know you remember we used to do that, but I don't have a problem with this.
I think everybody's wrapped up. Move item 3 as staff wrap-up comments.
Yes, Mayor. The only thing that I would add is that here's Mohammed from the Planning Division. It was discussed with the applicant, the demand from the engineering department to remove the driveway along Walnut because the designation of Walnut, and the applicant was agreeable to remove that driveway.
Thanks for the report. Moving to item C, which is again a nice joint special meeting that has morphed into a city council new business item. We discussed this in its entirety. It's been through the process. It is now a new business item, and I'm going to ask Councilmember Alonda if he would present this for our consideration.
Consideration and possible action resolution number R 2020-CUP 20-00006. So moved.
Second, Hernandez.
We have a motion and a second. We do have a motion and a second, I guess, Madam Secretary. Madam Secretary, we are ready for, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Mayor. While we're in discussion, I'd like to just to reiterate. I think that the engineering criteria should be managed through the engineering department and not through the UDC. Adding these to conditional use permits, I think, is unnecessary. If this individual was to use this site and develop it in a different way, where it'd be more advantageous for them to get a driveway on Walnut than on to South Austin. If we're okay with the use, we shouldn't discourage them from being able to turn the site. I'm perfectly okay with the use, but I really don't like using the CUP as a mechanism to enforce other criteria, particularly when we have those other criteria written in other criteria manuals, and it still has to go through engineering review, or there's still mechanisms for that to be enforced. So I would like to amend the motion to strike the component where no driveway can be accessed through Walnut.
Second, Carbone.
We have a motion and a second. We're in discussion. Oops. The screen went back on me here. We have a motion and a second.
Mayor, before we vote, I just want to see, did staff have a response to that? I'm just curious.
All right. Does staff have a response?
I may need to verify with Martin, but I'm sorry. This is Lawrence again in the legal department. And what you're saying, Member Perez, I would say that in regards to condition number 1 for Walnut, the driveway to be there is inside the UDC. I believe it prevents access on double frontage lots. So because this is a corner, it would be a double frontage. It wouldn't specifically say Walnut had to go, or it wouldn't say that Austin had to go. It would require that they could only have access from one side. And because the lot has this existing condition, I think staff is doing their best to make sure that they are proactive so that the person isn't surprised when they get to the permit stage and they're told, no, go back to the drawing board. I know you spent the money on that, but draw it again, and this time remove that second access or include this in the plan set.
Well, that kind of fits into my point and my concern. We're trying to make these conditional use permits about the use and not about trying to either reinforce or enhance the UDC. If we have a provision in the UDC that already is enforceable, we don't need to put it on this condition, which further limits this track and its development for a use that we feel is appropriate and acceptable. And 2, we have talked ad nauseum about not requiring site plans as part of the CUP application. Now, the applicant can include that if they wish, but we keep running into this issue where we're trying to develop a CUP based on a site plan when it's really about the use. If we're okay with the use and we're not putting in, and we have no objection to the use, the site plan is not a consideration. So I'm okay with the use. I suspect that if other members are okay with the use can be allowed to continue. But if they want to turn the building 90 degrees, we don't want them to have to come back for a CUP because there's a restriction that says they can't access off of Walnut. So it's enforceable already in the UDC. We don't need to double dip. That's all I have.
And just clarify for the record, right now we have a motion and a second to amend this to remove the restriction or the requirement that the Walnut drive be removed. So that's the motion to amend that's currently on the table.
Madam Secretary, I believe we have a motion second on that item.
I see that Commissioner Cade has her hand raised on the list. I didn't know if she had something.
Thank you. I know that Commissioner Earls had a question or a comment that he, Commissioner Earls?
Thank you, Laney. I wasn't sure. Trent, you just addressed my question about the site plan. I thought it was something that had mentioned before. And for both CUPs, you mentioned that. But your last comment, you answered my question and cleared it up. Thank you.
Any other question or comment at this point?
No, thank y'all for letting us get that in.
Okay. Madam Secretary, I believe we have a motion second on the floor.
Councilmember Perez?
All right, it was on mute. And for clarification, we are voting on the amendment to the motion. So aye.
Councilmember Owens?
Is this on for the amendment?
It's for the amendment, sir. Yes.
Aye.
Councilmember Orlando?
Aye.
Councilmember Carbone?
Aye.
Councilmember Little?
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Aye.
Councilmember Moore?
Aye.
The council votes 7-0 to amend resolution number R 2020-CUP 20-00006 to remove language regarding the driveway on Walnut.
Okay. We now have an amended motion. Is there a council motion or a second to discussion on this item? Any further discussion and move to a motion and a second?
I think we're ready to vote, Mayor.
We're ready to vote.
Okay, Madam Secretary, I believe we have a motion second on the floor.
Councilmember Orlando,
Aye.
Councilmember Carbone,
Aye.
Councilmember Little,
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Perez,
Aye.
Councilmember Owens.
Aye.
The motion passes 7-0 to approve the amended motion to
Okay.
remove the language for the driveway.
Just for the purposes of the record, Mayor, this is Lawrence over in the legal department. Just for the purposes of the record, I wanted to say that Mr. Wicker was able to rejoin the meeting. I know that he got out at the beginning of it. We said that he was out and he is in now. I know it doesn't affect this vote or this issue in any way, but for the purposes of minutes and such, I think we need to show that he was back with us. Thank you.
Any further comment or anything on this item? I'm going to move to the last item, which would give me an opportunity to adjourn this particular joint special meeting.
Yes.
And I will adjourn this series of endeavor to make the city of Pearland understandable in its construction and organization. And thank all of you for the comments on these items.
Yeah. Yes, Mayor Darren here. I just wanted to clarify that moving forward, the Planning and Zoning Commission will remain in this current meeting as they get ready to go into their regular meeting. And the City Council will now leave this meeting and